The wind screamed through the darkness like a living thing, clawing against the windows of the old truck as if it wanted to rip the family out into the night. Snow hammered down so thick and ruthless that even the headlights were swallowed whole. Daniel gripped the steering wheel with frozen fingers, trying to ignore the way his 3 little children trembled in the back seat, wrapped in thin blankets that were now more ice than cloth. The heater had died an hour ago. The engine sputtered. The storm grew teeth, and deep inside he felt the sickening certainty that no one knew where they were. No one was coming. His children, his 3 little heartbeats, were looking at him with trust that didn't match the terror flooding his veins. 7-year-old Lily pressed her face to the window, breath trembling into fog. 5-year-old Noah hugged his stuffed bear as if its seams held magic. 3-year-old Hope whimpered softly, not from fear, but from cold so deep it made her tiny lips turn gray. Daniel whispered to himself, "Keep calm. Keep breathing. Keep fighting." He lied beautifully because nothing inside him felt calm. The truck jerked violently as a wave of wind slammed into it. Lily shrieked. Snow flew so hard that it sounded like gravel thrown by giants. The road beneath them had vanished long ago, leaving only swirling white void on every side. Daniel slowed the truck, heart pounding as he realized he could no longer tell whether he was moving, forward or drifting sideways. The storm had eaten all sense of direction. His phone had died when the temperature dropped. The map was useless. Hope whimpered louder, and Noah asked in a shaking voice, "Daddy, are we going to make it home before Santa comes?" Daniel swallowed the burn in his throat. "Yes, buddy. I'll get you home. I promise." But promises didn't stop blizzards. The truck choked, sputtered, and then died altogether. A dead, hollow silence fell inside the cab, broken only by the shriek of the storm outside. The lights flickered once, twice, and faded. Darkness swallowed them. Lily sobbed, "Daddy, the dark hurts my eyes." Her teeth clattered. Daniel pulled all 3 of them close, wrapping them in his arms as best he could, but he could already feel the temperature sinking dangerously. "Listen to me," he whispered. "We're going to sit close. We're going to breathe slow, and you're going to stay awake. No sleeping, okay? No matter what." Snow caked itself against every window, sealing them in an icy coffin. The metal groaned with wind pressure. The cold crept like a predator across Daniel's legs, chest, fingers. Hope's tiny body shivered violently against him. He could barely feel her feet. Minutes or hours passed, time stopped making sense. The wind pulsed like a heartbeat. The truck shook. The storm felt endless, merciless, inhuman. Lily finally whispered, "Daddy, I think I hear something outside." Daniel froze. He heard it too. A low rumble. A distant thud. Not the storm. Not thunder. Something else. Something moving. Something stopping very close. He tensed, pulling his kids even closer as footsteps crunched through the deep snow, growing louder, closer, heavier. The sound stopped right outside the driver's side door. Daniel's breath turned to needles in his lungs. Then a knock. A slow, deliberate, echoing knock that vibrated through the frozen metal. Lily gasped. Noah's bear slipped from his fingers. Daniel couldn't speak. Couldn't move. The knock came again. And then a voice, low, calm, unfamiliar, cut through the storm like a knife. "Open up, you've got children in there." "The storm's not stopping tonight." Another knock. Not forceful. Not threatening. Just steady. Daniel forced his numb fingers to reach for the handle. The door blew open instantly, slamming backward from the pressure of the storm. Snow blasted inside. The figure outside grabbed it with surprising strength and shielded the opening with his body. A man, tall, wrapped in thick winter gear. Snow caked in his beard, peered into the darkness of the truck. "You need to move," he said. "Now before the cold winds." Daniel blinked. Who are you?" The man didn't answer immediately. He looked at the children, their trembling bodies, their frostbitten cheeks. Something shifted behind his eyes. "My cabin is close. If you stay here, you won't make it to morning." Daniel hesitated. He hated trusting strangers. But the cold was already claiming them. And this man, this stranger, had warmth steaming from his coat. Breath solid, movement steady. He didn't smell like danger. He smelled like safety in a place where safety shouldn't exist. "Take the kids first," Daniel said. "They can't walk far." The man nodded sharply. "I'll carry 2. You hold the little one close. Keep their faces covered." Time blurred again as the stranger lifted Lily and Noah, tucking them against his massive chest. Daniel wrapped Hope under his jacket. The blast of cold when they stepped out felt like knives stabbing every inch of exposed skin. The wind nearly knocked Daniel to his knees. The stranger steadied him with one shoulder. "Stay behind me," he said. "If you fall behind, shout." But Daniel couldn't even hear the shout that left his own mouth. The wind stole every sound. They trudged through drifts so deep they swallowed Daniel's legs. Snow burned his face. Hope whimpered weakly. The stranger's strength was the only thing keeping them moving. After what felt like hours, a dark shape emerged from the white void. A cabin, solid and unmoving as the world raged around it. The stranger kicked the door open, guiding them inside. The moment the door slammed shut behind them, silence fell like a warm blanket. A fire roared in the stone hearth. The air smelled like pine and something sweet. Honey? Bread life? The stranger lowered the two older kids gently onto a massive rug. Daniel collapsed to his knees with Hope in his arms. She whimpered once, then sagged. Daniel's chest clenched with panic. "Please, she's freezing. She's not responding." The stranger was already there, hands steady, checking her pulse, her breath, her color. "She's alive," he said firmly. "Weak but alive. She needs warmth, slow warmth, no quick heating." He gathered thick blankets, warm water bottles, soft furs, building a nest around the children. Daniel's eyes burned, not from cold but from gratitude so sharp it hurt. "Why?" he whispered hoarsely. "Why did you help us?" The man met his eyes for the first time. Something haunted flickered behind his quiet steadiness. "Because once, someone saved my child in a storm like this," he murmured. "I wasn't there in time. A stranger stepped in. I promised I'd be that stranger for someone else." Daniel's breath hitched. The stranger looked at the fire. "Name's Rowan." Daniel nodded weakly. "Daniel." Hours passed before the children stirred, color returning to their cheeks, breaths evening out. Rowan prepared warm broth and fed the kids slowly, carefully. He checked their fingers and toes for frostbite, wrapped them in warming salves, and kept the fire strong. Daniel watched him with disbelief. Rowan moved like a man who had learned too much from pain, someone who knew exactly how to save lives because he had once lost one. Night deepened. The storm outside howled with fury, but inside the cabin the fire glowed gold. Noah leaned against Rowan's side, half asleep. Lily rested curled near the hearth, her cheeks flushed with warmth. Hope snored softly in Daniel's arms. Daniel whispered, "If you hadn't found us..." Rowan cut him off gently. "You were meant to be found." For the first time all night, Daniel believed in something, maybe luck, maybe fate, maybe miracles carved from storms. But the storm didn't end. And Christmas was only beginning. The next morning arrived with a sky heavy and bruised. The storm still raging like a beast that refused to die. The cabin creaked under the weight of snow and wind, but inside warmth wrapped around the family like magic. Lily sat on a wooden stool watching Rowan cook something in a cast-iron pot, mesmerized by the smells rising from it. Noah stacked pieces of firewood and declared himself fire captain. Hope toddled unsteadily around Daniel's lap, recovered enough to demand cuddles and giggles. Daniel had never seen her smile so wide. Rowan moved through the room with calm precision, tending to the fire, preparing food, checking the storm's progress through a thick window. Daniel studied him. "You live here alone?" Rowan nodded once. "I've been alone for years. The mountain doesn't ask questions, doesn't expect anything from you." "But you saved us," Daniel said quietly. "That's something." Rowan paused but didn't answer. As the hours passed, the storm only intensified. The wind roared. Snow cascaded off the roof in heavy sheets. Rowan checked, his radio frowning. "Roads are all closed. No rescue teams are out. We'll have to wait it out." Daniel nodded, trying not to look worried. The children were safe, warm, but their home was miles away. And Christmas was tomorrow. Later, while the kids napped, Rowan sat across from Daniel, sharpening an old hunting knife with slow strokes. "You're a good father," he said without looking up. Daniel laughed softly, exhausted. "I'm just trying not to fail them." Rowan looked at him then, really looked. "You didn't fail them. Most people would have panicked. You kept them alive long enough for help to find. You." Daniel swallowed the unexpected emotion rising in his throat. "Thank you." Rowan shrugged as if it meant nothing. It meant everything. By evening, the storm outside screamed louder than before. Rowan paced once, twice, then checked the windows again. Daniel finally asked, "What's wrong?" Rowan hesitated. "The storm's shifting. Coming down the mountain harder. It's stronger than last night." Lily stirred awake and asked, "Is the storm mad, Mr. Rowan?" Rowan knelt beside her. "Storms don't get mad. They just get big. But we're safe in here." She blinked. "Promise?" Rowan smiled. A small, real smile that changed his whole face. "Promise." Dinner was warm stew and fresh bread Rowan had somehow managed to make earlier. The children devoured it like they hadn't eaten in weeks. Hope smeared broth across her cheeks. Noah announced that Rowan's stew was magic soup. Rowan just chuckled, though a shadow crossed his features, quick, unguarded, gone in a flash. Daniel noticed, but he didn't ask. When the fire crackled low and the kids drifted off to sleep again, Rowan sat in his wooden chair, staring into the flames with an expression carved from memories. Daniel approached quietly. "You said someone saved your child." Rowan didn't look up. "They tried." The room went still. "A ranger found my son during a storm like this. Car accident. The boy survived long enough to see help, long enough to hold the ranger's hand." Rowan's voice cracked barely, but Daniel heard it. "I was hours away. Too late." Daniel's chest tightened. Rowan continued, "Before he died, my son told the ranger, 'Please save someone else like you saved me.' So he did. And then I promised I would too." Silence thickened. Daniel whispered, "You kept that promise." Rowan finally looked at him. For the first time, it feels like it mattered. Outside, something slammed against the cabin, heavy, forceful. Rowan shot to his feet. "Snowslide," he murmured. He grabbed a lantern and rushed to the window. Daniel followed. A wall of snow had crashed into the cabin's side, half burying the window. The pressure groaned against the wood. Rowan grabbed his coat. "I need to check the support beams outside." Daniel grabbed his arm. "It's too dangerous." Rowan's eyes sharpened. "If the beams give, the whole side could collapse." "The kids—" He didn't finish. "He didn't need to." Daniel muttered, "I'm coming with you." Rowan shook his head. "Stay with them." "You saved them once," Daniel said. "Let me help save them too." The storm hit like a fist when they stepped outside, lanterns struggling against the darkness. Snow nearly swallowed them whole as they fought their way along the cabin's side. The support beams creaked under the weight of snow. Rowan cursed under his breath. "We need to dig some of this off." The wind roared, whipping snow in every direction. Their hands shook with cold and effort. As they worked, the mountain growled again, a deep rumble. Rowan's face went pale. "Move." They dove aside just as another cascade of snow thundered down. Slamming into the cabin, Rowan was thrown back, striking the ground hard. Daniel crawled through the freezing chaos to reach him. "Rowan, Rowan!" Rowan groaned, clutching his ribs. Daniel hauled him up, dragging him toward the door as snow rained around them. They stumbled back into the cabin, slamming the door just as another burst of wind nearly ripped it from its hinges. Lily ran to them, terrified. "Daddy, Mr. Rowan!" "You're hurt." Rowan forced a breath. "Just bruised?" But Daniel saw the pain tightening his jaw. "Lie down," Daniel demanded. "I'll get the med kit." Rowan tried to protest but lost the battle when Hope climbed onto his chest and said, "No hurt." Lily and Noah hovered around him like tiny worried guardians. Daniel cleaned Rowan's wounds, wrapped his ribs, and made a decision as the storm howled around them like a living monster. "We're staying right here together," he said. "No one leaves this cabin tonight." Hours crawled past, but Rowan's breathing steadied. The children slept peacefully, and Daniel kept the fire alive with the determination of a man defending his world. Rowan woke sometime near midnight and whispered, "Daniel, you kept them alive tonight." Daniel looked at the sleeping children and whispered back, "No, we kept them alive." Outside, the storm slowly quieted, defeated at last. Inside, something unbreakable had formed, something warmer than any fire, stronger than any shelter. And when Christmas morning arrived, wrapped in gold sunlight and soft silence, Daniel realized the truth. The warmth they had found in that cabin, in Rowan, in each other, was a warmth no house could ever give. It was the warmth of lives saved together, hearts changed together, a miracle born in a blizzard, a miracle they would carry forever.